we'll start our little tour of station here. Where I am right now, I'm standing right in the middle of the lab, and I'm looking forward. And on my left here, you can see our CBIS, or cycle ergometer vibration isolation system. Anyway, it's a life cycle, kind of like. It's got little springs. Not springs, but they're little wire balls that allow it to move around when we cycle. It takes a while to get used to do that. Okay, move a little bit farther forward. As you can see up there in the top flags, representing all the many countries involved in the International Space Station. However, they're kind of blocked right now because there's a net. You see that crisscross pattern in yellow protecting Aris rack. It isolates the rack system. It actually isolates the rack from any vibration. And it's active isolation. What I just showed you before was passive. Here's a shot of Express 4. So it's actually on the port side. So I'm looking forward. This is on the port side. It's like Medusa with all those cables there. Right there is a H-strap. Basically, it's a nifty little storage device that helps us store things temporarily when we're working with experiments. Here we got one of our many soft stowage racks. Lots of stuff back there. There's the VT machine, or video teleconferencing machine. Sometimes they call it the OCA. But this is the OCA router right down here. Okay, I'll turn so you can see it. That box right there is part of Aris. Just not using it right now. There's the forward hatch. And through that we go to PMA2, which eventually, when a shuttle would be docked, we'd go to the shuttle. But after the shuttle left, we went ahead and we shut that hatch, and we evacuated that space in between this hatch and the docking port, so we don't have to worry about condensation or temperature problems. Now let's look on the starboard side. And there you see, here is my kayuta in Russian, or my sleep station. It's officially called TESS. It's got my name tag in Russian there, with Navy Flight Officer wings. Okay. Let's go inside, take another look. It's kind of messy right now, but I've got it all kind of set up. Got my sleeping bag there on the left. Let me get some lights on here. So my sleeping bag there on the left, you can see. Just looking at the top, I got a light set up. Frank and I guess it was Volodya who's actually here. Did a good job setting it up. Computer, everything I need, CD player, glasses, a little drink bag in case I need it, little device here that's actually a little fan that I use when I'm doing my crafts. I used a filter that we got from the Katok that we fixed the other day, and I placed it on the back side of this fan. So when I turn this fan on, it comes out this side, the air is coming out this side, and on this side it collects little pieces that I may do. It also helps if I just want to trim my fingernails or something, that collects them, and then that makes it easier for me to keep track of all that stuff and I don't clog up the filters. Okay, continuing my tour here. Let's look overhead, and there we see Aris rack. The one Aris rack we do have is here, forwardmost position. Got a nifty net there that protects it. Here on the starboard side, so this would be starboard 2 in the lab, we have the HRF rack. Should all look familiar. And computers we have all over the place. And usually if it's around a payload, it's associated with the payload. So there we got the, this is actually Express. Aris rack is in Express rack number 2. See if we can read that right side up. Sorry about the lighting. Express 2. Alright, so that's a computer associated laptop. Computer Express laptop associated with that. There's an Express laptop associated with Express rack number 1. Hard to read, but that's where it is, right above us. And there's the HRF laptop, of course, associated with the HRF rack. Okay, now I'm almost in the middle of the lab again. Now I'm looking aft. And let's look down this way, and there we've got the lab window. And the cover, it should have a cover. Okay, there's the cover, and it's not on there for some reason, so I'll go ahead and place that on. Okay, so that cover is on there now, and we've got some cameras ready to take pictures there all around. Okay, here we have another soft stowage rack. There's part of the ultrasound keyboard right there. Another computer right there, that's checks, or the mech computer, excuse me, runs the checks application. So you see this there on the right again. On the top, rest of the stuff on the top is pretty much soft stowage racks on the ceiling, or overhead, as they say. Look to the left here, and here we have Express 5. Express 5 basically has mostly lockers in it right now, and but waiting for experiments to come up, shuttle to come up. Now we're looking aft again. There's our Christmas tree. Haven't brought down our Christmas tree decorations yet. There's one of the workstations. It's the cupola workstation. It's on the starboard side. And here we have, let's look down to the floor before that is the checks rack. Basically has all of our most of our medical gear in it. And towards the bottom, we have the defibrillator right there. And here we have the VOA, volatile organics analyzer, I think. Here's an avionics rack here. Basically has, let's see, we have a little cue card here. It tells us what's in there. You can read that. Avionics rack, and beyond it we have the air revitalization system, or AR rack. And again, a little cue card. Remind us what's in there. Okay, AAA is in there as well. Again, we're still looking aft. And to my right, which is really the port side station, is the lab robotics workstation. So it's on the port side there, and what it's missing right now is just one more computer, which is over here, that we would pull over to it. This computer is kind of permanently there. We use that for accessing OSTPD or flight plan and other things. Down here is another SSC, and when we're doing robotic ops, we just move it over, put it on a little bracket like this computer's on, and it would end up running Doug for us. We leave this one hooked up to run procedures because it's on the ops LAN hard line, so it brings up procedures a little bit quicker, it seems to. Okay, there are emergency books, or hard copies of books that we keep up there. Caution warning panel. Again, we're looking aft. AP1. Anyways. Okay, and now here there's a printer set up on the starboard side. And nice little, and there is the file server. Every once in a while we have to reboot file server, and right underneath it are some books, as well as the mace, the hard drive. Hard drive is tucked away underneath it. That's associated with AVU or SVU. Another monitor. And again, taking a view from back here, right side, you got the cupola, robotics workstation. There you got the lab, robotics workstation, the lab. Okay, let's go on towards the node. I'm going to turn around and go on towards the node here. Okay, coming on through the aft lab hatch and then the forward node hatch, and here we are in the node. There's the bottom, or the nadir hatch of the node, and that's basically a pit that now the window is fairly small in that window, and as long as MPLM isn't coming up, we leave a lot of gear stowed in there. Carl thought of that idea, and we've got a lot of clothes, basically consumables, towels, clothes, that eventually this pile should get smaller. On the right side, we have all of our water stowed. It's actually port side of the station, but right, camera right. Up above, there's IRED set up. We just figured out how to put that foot plate on and use it properly. And now let's look down. Now we're back to the starboard side of the station, and there's the station airlock. And we'll go into there a little bit later, but you see they're all set up. 2 suits are set up there, ready to go, and the 3rd suit should be on the ceiling there behind the guitar. Okay, back in the node again. We're looking at the deck there. That's one of the intakes that we have to clean during our weekly cleaning. The node fan. There's a locker, kind of a hard stowage locker. And there's our toolkit, ISS toolkit. Open it up, and you can pull out these drawers. Pretty handy to get to. A lot of more common tools we keep in another place, because a lot of times we just need one tool we use in particular one tool we use in particular is 1/4" ratchet. Okay, now we're looking at the starboard side again. Coming up, and there you see SSC6, also a backup for KFX. Ground uses to get the stuff up and down. There's Carl coming back there. He was in the SO, looking at the Orlon suit with Yuri, and we'll get some shots of them later, working with that. Then on the right there is the ever famous MPSD that has the IP phone. So there's a SSC6 there, which was back up for KFX. And look at there, that light is green. See that little arrow there is green. That means we can phone home if we wanted to right now. The little up and down arrow next to 2:30 p.m. And there's the useful MPSD, and that's where the IP phone is located, here in the back part of the node. Here we got more soft stowage racks, some temp stow stuff, and another soft stowage rack up there.
Next to the table, my back to the table. A few people having dinner, so I didn't disturb them. Here is the connecting node between service module and FGB, and down below us is the docking compartment, something that's been delivered since I was last year, and it holds a lot of cargo and spacesuits and things like that. But it can also be used as an airlock, and also a cargo vehicle or a space vehicle can dock to the bottom of it. It's quite big and cool and nice, and people like to sleep in there. Moving on into the FGB. This being a logistics flight, we have loaded the station to the gills, and the crew that's on board hasn't had a chance to... there's Philippe floating over me, that's nice. The crew that's on board hasn't had a chance to start packing this away so that it has a place to live. So for a few days, weeks maybe, the FGB especially will be a little bit cluttered. What I'm passing over is clothing for the next 2 expeditions, as well as food for the next 2 expeditions. That was my head. Okay, we're going out the forward end of the FGB. A couple of air ventilation hoses that help keep air circulated between various modules here. Right here is the rescue vehicle, also the transportation vehicle for the taxi crew that came up last time that brought up Mark Shellworth. Down below here are the 2 compartments of the Soyuz vehicle, the ascent module and the on-orbit module, and then the ascent module becomes a descent module. And in an emergency, this crew could leave and go home, and on some missions, crews that are here will be scheduled to return to Earth and come up to the station on the Soyuz. It certainly can be very useful for that, but it serves as a lifeboat for the crew of 3 that's on board now. Okay, we're moving out of the Russian-built segment and into some of the American-built modules. I'm in Node 1 now. As you can see all around, it's got bags of stuff, again from our unloading and loading exercise. Ahead of me is the U.S. laboratory. I'm going to pause here for a minute and take a look to the right, and we'll see what's known as the joint airlock. In here you see, well, we've just finished EVA 3, so the place is a little bit cluttered. You see one of the spacesuits, or at least part of it, and there's a large crew lock section which has got a large diameter and plenty of room in it. Good place for sleeping. And beyond it, that was equipment lock, the large part, and beyond it is the crew lock. Now, looking straight down below me is the reason for all of this clutter in the station right now, which is the Italian-built multi-purpose logistics module. And inside here are storage racks and storage platforms. And we have spent the last few days unloading this baby with, well, they tell us about 3 tons of material, and then reloading it with about the same amount for return to Earth. And we've done a pretty good job of cleaning out the station of the things that are no longer needed. Okay, we're back out of logistics module. Go back this way. And now we fly a little bit through the node again. And we're in the lab. Unfortunately, I've turned myself upside down, so now I'll do a slow roll to get oriented properly in the U.S. laboratory. This place is the central place for scientific activity. It's got a place for 16 racks. Right now there are 15 in here. One of them is not yet arrived. It's the optical observation facility that will go over the optical quality window that's in the lab. On the floor beneath my feet now is where I float over it. And finally I get to pressurized mating adapter number 2, which is the connection between visiting shuttles and the space station. A little bit of a turn to make here, and when we come through this pressurized mating adapter, we're actually in the space shuttle now. We're out in the cargo bay in the external airlock, and we have to do a little roll here to negotiate the turn through the inner hatch of the shuttle airlock. And now we're in the middeck. Our middeck is also very cluttered because we're bringing home Expedition 4 crew, and their things, as well as some storage things that didn't fit in the MPLM, are in our middeck, along with our exercise cycle, which is right here. And you can see stacks and stacks of equipment that we've yet to put away, and we really can't get started until we undock from space station, close up the airlock, put some things in there. Passing by the galley. The toilet is in there by the hatch. Now we head up to the flight deck, where I believe it's still a beautiful day outside. Going up the interdeck access way next to the ladder. And if you look out the overhead windows, you can see the front end cone of the U.S. laboratory that we were just passing through. And now we're in the space shuttle as it appears on orbit, with all the books and equipment that we need to operate up here strewn about. And the beautiful space shuttle Endeavour.